All that to say subscribers don't matter?
Yes.
Oh my God, this is so stressful.
The video blew up the next day. It just completely blew up.
But what it tells you off the bat is just how powerful regular viewers are.
Let it figure it out, algorithm. Like, don't put that on me. Hey, welcome back to the only podcast where Dan thinks everything's loud and no one else does. I'm Travis, and I'm here with the entire crew. The most special of podcasts. I'm here with Jen. Say hi, Jen.
Hello.
Rob. Say hi, Rob.
Hello, everybody.
And Dan.
Why is everyone yelling?
See, this is the thing. So Dan has problems with his headphones, but we love him just the same. If you're new here, this is the vidIQ podcast. And if you're watching on the main channel, hello. We have all types of things to talk to you about today. We're going to go over the updates that vidIQ has talked about on YouTube that YouTube has lovingly given us. Have you guys seen all the loving updates that have come out?
Seen him. I've been making videos every frigging day about them. Goodness, I'm burnt out.
Rob, are you
YouTube's not
familiar
updating
with
stuff.
any of these things?
Goodness.
We'll fill you in. Don't worry, Rob.
All right.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, YouTube released several updates. The Censor update, AI age verification, the title comparison tool, and we're going to answer some of your emails that you've sent in. If you're interested, we'll tell you how to do that a little bit later. But let's start with what I thought was one of the funnier updates that came out this week. It's not really a censor update. It's more of you can now make money by saying things that previously you might not have been able to say before. And Rob made a great video this week censoring 70% of the words that he said. What do you guys think about that? Let's start with Rob.
Well, fun fact is that I didn't actually say any curse or swear words at all. I was just bleeping out normal words like French and sausage and monetization. Savage, on the other hand, couldn't do anything about him. And the guy from YouTube couldn't do anything about him. He was like, geesh. I mean, come on.
That was
was
the best
excited.
YouTube video of all time from both of you, actually. Both parties involved. They were probably the highest form of quality we have today.
I'm a bit indifferent to the update because one of my YouTube policies, well, that sounds a bit weird, but one of my own internal policies is that I don't like to curse or swear. And maybe it's because I'm representing vidIQ, but even on my previous channel, I didn't like to do that just because I wanted a family-friendly audience to be speaking to. But I guess lots and lots of creators welcome this, and it feels like the advertisers have kind of figured out again a little bit more that YouTube is a more, how do I put this, liberal and accepting place for all types of content. So yeah, I think it's good news for everybody that I can think of, as long as YouTube are able to correctly, restrict the content for the right audiences so that, kids aren't playing videos and all of a sudden there's F-bombs being dropped in the first few seconds.
Do we think that, I know we're going to get to it, but do we think that this update was also tied to the age verification update?
It's funny you say that. I was literally going to mention that when we get to that point. But let's real quick, for people who didn't catch it, what is a censor update? It's not even a censor update. All it is it now allows you to have more opportunity to monetize your videos without the yellow monetization icon. If you do drop more F-bombs and other bombs all throughout your YouTube videos.
Other
especially within the
bombs.
first 7 seconds.
All the
Other
bombs.
All the bombs. Oh, there's one. If you drop one of those, you still might get monetized. So, Rob doesn't curse. I'm pretty sure Dan doesn't. I think in his regular everyday life he does.
Yes. In my regular everyday life, I am like a sailor. But all of my training came from radio and then came over to YouTube, and you don't cuss on radio. And I don't mind it. I don't feel like it's like me having to stifle any part of my personality or anything like that. I think it literally is just a choice. Like Rob said, your content appeals to a wider audience. If you decide not to say those things, and not because YouTube is going to restrict it, but simply because people watching will be like, oh, I can watch this with my kids in the room, and it doesn't have to be a big deal.
Absolutely. Jen, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, in the vlogging space, I think you can kind of be yourself, but I don't remember seeing very many. Well, I guess it depends on the vlogger, but it doesn't seem to be a prevalent thing in vlogging as a general rule.
I would say probably more Yeah, like I don't think it's really that evident in the vlogging space. I don't think it's that, I don't know, impactful of an update. Like I think it answered a lot of questions that creators had when it comes to like the rules. Like, can I curse? Can I not curse? Like, it almost felt like they were kind of like rumored, like, oh, you can't have it in the first few seconds. Well, what words can't be in the first few seconds? So I think there's clarity on it now, but I don't know. Is it really a big deal? Which is really funny because I'm like thinking back now and I've opened 2 videos with the F word bleeped out.
Oh, hey. So does that mean
It's
the
a little
vidIQ podcast?
self-reflection right there in that moment. I was like, who would do that?
I'm
Who
trying to
would
think.
open their video cursing?
Have I ever done that? I don't think so. I always bleep out anything. It's very rare that I'll ever. I think it's more impactful if you like don't do it, and then all of a sudden you do it out of somewhere and bleep it.
It was like a reaction style. So I was like, that feels like a good intro. I think it was more impactful bleep sometimes, to be honest. It's like, I don't know, catches your attention more than even just cursing. I don't even think you notice cursing when somebody is like, it slips into a video like 1 or 2 times. You're just like, oh, you're a human speaking.
Yeah.
Like if that's how you choose to speak, like I wasn't like, oh my God, they said a bad word on the internet.
Speaking of like bleeps themselves, does anyone else here feel like the type of bleep you use can either hit or miss? Like some bleeps are funnier than others, because I found a creator using, sometimes they would just, or back in the day they would just kind of like silence their swear words. They've moved on to bleeping, but the bleep they're using, it sounds not like a bleep. It just sounds kind of like a low boop, and it's very distracting. It's worse than just saying a curse word.
Yeah, I had a friend that used duck sounds, which I loved. That was great. Like whack.
Yeah.
Whenever he would say something, instead of saying, "Well, this mother," anything like that. But I like the duck personally. Whack.
I like that.
Ducks.
I like when it changes up. There's ducks and some, I don't know. They just use different words and they use different images over their mouth to just be funny. But I think when in doubt, it's better to just silence it. I think you can get the bleep wrong and then it loses that like effect. It's more distracting. That's just my opinion. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
Dan, I couldn't agree more.
That's a good bleep. That's a funny bleep.
So that's like a classic censor like beep.
Yeah.
Like that's the one where I think it's the best.
Yeah, people identify with it. So speaking of this, what Dan mentioned earlier, AI age verification. First of all, what's going on with this, Dan? What is this update?
Yeah, so the way it's going to work, and this has already been rolled out in other regions, it's just coming to us next, is that YouTube is going forward, ignore what you've told them your age is, and they're going to use their signals on their end to determine like a rough guesstimate of whether or not you're over 18. Maybe even more ages for all I know. I don't really, I don't know how much they'll actually tell us on the surface. So I made a video about it. I think that I covered the update and then I actually added to the video later because as I was editing it, I'm like, I'm kind of missing part of the thing I wanted to say, which was, do we need this? Like, people aren't liking it. I see that they're not liking it, but I was so focused on getting all the facts straight of the update that I'm like, oh, I forgot to give my opinion on this, and I think I'm going to get roasted. So I came back and I'm like, hey, I don't like this. I don't think this is great. And I would say the main reason I don't like it isn't necessarily, well, one, it's the privacy concerns. I don't know who I'm going to be giving my personal information to, but the other reason I don't like it is that there's other things that other like friends of mine who are parents have seen on YouTube Kids that made them stop using YouTube Kids, for example. And I'm like, hey, if the content itself isn't being identified correctly across YouTube as it is, if that's true, then are they going to be getting people's ages right? Like, and if you guess that someone's over 18 and you're wrong, and now you can cuss in videos in the first few seconds and all this other stuff, like, isn't this potentially going to do more damage, more harm than good? And I don't know. All we can do is speculate as usual. And as usual, I think stuff like this rolls out. YouTube makes a whole bunch of mistakes. They learn, they fix it. But that's where I'm at with it. I think
according to YouTube, they've been doing this in the UK for a while now, and it supposedly is successful. As is the case with most of these things, they've usually been testing it with a group of people before we ever hear about it. And I heard it explained multiple times, and it's more about the type of content that you will be suggested, as well as like different guardrails they put in place for the different age groups. And it's really complicated for a company like YouTube because internationally, countries have different rules, regulations, and laws regarding this stuff. So none of this is easy, and it's definitely not going to be perfect. They kind of admitted that, hey, maybe we'll make a mistake, but that's why they're rolling it out slowly. I don't think from a creator perspective this is going to affect many people. I certainly am not thinking about it if I'm creating something. Are any of you worried about it from the creator standpoint?
I would imagine any creators who are worried about this may be erring on the side of malicious intent and bad actors anyway, if they're trying to target a certain audience, although they're not technically trying to target a certain audience, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think generally, similar to the AI monetization update, I think if you are a morally and ethically sound creator, then theoretically you should be pleased that YouTube is trying to safeguard the users of the platform.
Gentendo, what do you think?
I think that was really well said. I think if you're not doing anything wrong, like, what do you have to worry about? Like, I can't think of an instance where this would be detrimental to a creator who was just honestly making the right content for the right audience. So as a viewer, I think YouTube's going to think I'm 80 years old, but that's a viewer problem.
Hey, yo. So another update that came out recently, which I think, I say update that came out, it didn't really come out. Like the information about it came out. The actual feature's not out to everyone. It's a title comparison tool, which is similar to the thumbnail tool. I remember when the thumbnail tool first came out, everyone was excited about it. And then people were like, well, can I do that with titles? And I know from a perspective of me why, and this will come up in a game later on, I think titles are incredibly important. So to now have certain people so far, which vidIQ is one of them, have access to be able to change titles and thumbnails as a package. Actually, matter of fact, Rob, can you tell us how it works based on what you've seen and how you use it?
On a podcast, this is going to be a bit hard, right? So you can test 3 variants of titles, the thumbnail remains the same. 3 variants of thumbnails, the title remains the same. Or you can do 3 variants of whatever you want. So different title, different thumbnail.
But importantly, a title is married to a thumbnail. It doesn't just keep rotating them around. Very
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's interesting. And it's actually an important point.
If you understood that, listeners, good job. Well done.
I mean, it's not that complicated to understand, but I think what is important is, unlike titles, which just kind of switch through and rotate and try to figure out, like, over time what's working best, this, there's still an error potential from the person not understanding what a good packaging is between title and thumbnail, because you could put the wrong quote title and thumbnail together based on what you have, thinking that that's the connection, where it would be better if YouTube rotated them around and was like, oh, this title with this thumbnail actually performs best. I wish, and I know this is asking for too much, 3 titles, 3 thumbnails, and it just rotated them through and it combined the things until you had a winner.
How would you display the results of that, though?
Yeah.
How many?
Not my problem.
1 million views.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
This is for Dan's benefit. 1 million views.
Yeah.
You win.
I have to say, now that we've explained how it worked, I've used this a little bit. I've come to the conclusion that I hate it. At least for me. For me, I hate it. So here's where I'm at with it. Because I was trying to test 3 thumbnails with 3 different titles, the decision fatigue in packaging a video set in very quickly. Because sometimes when we're thinking of video ideas, and maybe a lot of creators out there can relate to this, we think of like a dozen or so titles that can work with a video based on different bits of research. Sometimes you just have one good title, but sometimes, depending on the video you're making, you're like, oh, this could be called a lot of things. And trying to figure out which title should go with which thumbnail was the most exhausting experience just in the few videos I've tried this with. I'm at a point now where, for my own mental health, I am only doing one or the other. I will either test 3 thumbnails or I will either test 3 titles, but I will not mix and match anymore unless it's like very clear what should go where. But if it's not clear and I'm having to sit there and think about it too long, I'm just going to make bad decisions. My confidence is going to shoot through the floor in my packaging. And that's just my personal experience with it. Other folks out there might be making smaller changes than I'm making, and maybe it's a little easier for them.
Well, so for titles, we always have advocated for for thumbnails, we've always advocating 3 way different thumbnails. How are you using the tool? What are you doing specifically?
I'm taking the thumbnails that we decide for a video, which have been pretty different, and I'm taking the different title suggestions that come in like that ideation process, and I'm literally having to try and match. Like, so when we give title and thumbnail advice, generally we say like, hey, your title and your thumbnail should work together, and they should kind of tell a little story. How do you do that? Like, imagine an author trying to make a book and they have like the option of 3 book covers and 3 titles for their book, and they're just sitting there like, okay, I'm going to have to put all of these out at the same time, but only one is going to sell the best. It's so much more pressure. Like, that's like trying to sell 3 books that say the same thing. I just, that, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm still learning, I think, the best way to use it. But some folks, the advice is actually don't do 3 majorly different thumbnails. Do a thumbnail with a slight change in each variation. So for us, with those YouTube update ones, if you've seen our main channel, it'll be like one of our faces next to like a fake kind of tweet from YouTube, or a reworded one with like big bold text on it. And sometimes what we'll do is we'll keep the same face and change all those different boxes of text in each thumbnail. Or we'll do the opposite. We'll change our facial expressions and keep the text the same. And so those are really easy. And then the titles need to be clear to the audience. And I'm trying. Does anyone else feel the stress of just me saying all this? Like, just trying to explain it is stressing me out.
I'm internally stressed.
Thank you.
I'm internally stressed. I'm listening to this and I'm having like immediate flashbacks the first time using it.
I'm not the only one.
Well, I mean, I get stressed just listening to Dan. Sometimes he says things. He's like, and then I opened the bag of bread, and the bread was different shapes. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stressful.
Who cut this bread?
Unbelievable.
Where do you even
Dan
get a
makes
tool
everything
like this?
so stressful to me.
Yeah.
I get it though. I get what you're trying to say there. And then this again, this goes back to what I said. I wish you could just have 3 thumbnails, 3 titles, and let it figure it out algorithmically. Like, don't put that on me. Don't you put that on me. You know, that's anyone knows that movie, let me know. Hit me up.
But does anyone else here feel like thinking about your packaging to that degree can have a more detrimental effect?
Yes. Yeah, because I feel like it's taking so much of like the decision making and planning off of the video to begin with, where you're like, I have this idea. This is going to be what the title is. This is going to be what my thumbnail is. And then I'm going to go make the video. And then you have to come up with these other variants that can potentially not represent the video as well, or you're trying to, you know, run all 3 tests in every single way. And well, I completely agree with that. It's exhausting. I definitely have my own feelings on how it works. But I think it takes excitement away from publishing. Like, you go to finally like publish that video and you're like, I don't even know what I did here. And I don't even know what's going to work.
Yeah.
By the way, for those who don't know, Jen publishes based on the way something feels. So you might want to take her stuff with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should not listen to me. I am personally a fan of doing like one test or the other. To me, when I like knew the title test was coming out, I did not know you were also going to be able to integrate different thumbnails per title. I thought we had separate, I'm going to run a title test, I'm going to run a thumbnail test. And personally, I think the way that it's how it should be done. I don't think they should be mix and match, because if you're trying to collect data on that, it is such an insane amount of data, and you have to do it in such a controlled way where you're running an experiment for like, at this point, like 6 months. So with the title, I would say the first time that I used it, I went crazy. I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna do 3 thumbnails and 3 titles. And it was, you know, not a lot of strategy going into it, but just like off the wall, like see what's gonna happen. And then the second time they used the tool, I was like, I don't want to use thumbnails at all. I used the same thumbnail and I only title tested. And I intentionally did 3 styles of title. I did one meta. I did one that works on our channel really well. And then I did what I would consider like a more modern, conversational, like minimalistic approach to see what actual title formula connected with the audience best. Now, I will say that video absolutely tanked. It was like our worst 10 of 10. So the information itself was not great. So coincidental, maybe. I don't know. You know, it was a video that had a slow start. But that is how I would continue to test it. I would only test one or the other, or very minimally alter a text within a thumbnail to just better enhance the title that you chose. But yeah, I just think it's a lot of information.
Rob, what are you thinking about this as you've heard what we all think?
Yeah. I guess from a perspective of how it works, I do describe it as it just works in the sense that it's very easy to set up. I mean, I know it takes a lot of effort to do the titles and the thumbnails themselves, but actually the way that YouTube have set up these features is pretty intuitive. Is it nice to have, even if you don't necessarily use it? I'm sure there are teams of creators who have like thumbnail designers and title experts are having a field day with this, but maybe from an individual creator's point of view, it is just more stress and paralysis of choice. What I found with the thumbnail testing when it came out is that even after having it now for 18 months, has it really influenced how I make my thumbnails or how different they are? And I still can't give you a definitive answer to that because the results seem to be so similar a lot of the time. Like the video is a 1 of 10, regardless of like the different variants we have, or the video is a 10 of 10, regardless of the variants you have. And it doesn't really move the needle enough on examples. It tends to be like 34%, 32%, 33%. It's like, oh, well, that wasn't very conclusive. Maybe that's user error. Maybe I'm not applying big enough changes. So yeah, there's kind of that, oh, great, we've now got title testing. And then it's like, I'm not really getting the same conclusive results as I was previously. And now I don't know if I want to use it as much.
Yeah, I know. And this kind of happened with the thumbnail thing, which, you know, creators for years wanted to have. Then we got it. And then a lot of people are like, I don't use it because it either doesn't work or I don't like the way it works. And at least YouTube's trying to give us the tools we ask for. But it does beg the question, like, are these tools, are they necessary? I think they're helpful at times. At times, they're helpful to tell us we don't actually need them. We need to understand our audience a little bit better. I think that's the best thing that they've done with these tools, is made us realize that maybe we don't need them.
I will say that during live streams, we advocate for using it. And I feel like our advice there is pretty good. So we'll see a channel that is doing something with their thumbnails that we kind of collectively don't agree they should be doing. And I'll always say, hey, by the way, if you agree with us or you're dubious about our advice, try it, test it. You have the thumbnail testing ability now. It's usually something small, like take your logo off the thumbnail and see how your next video performs. And I love it for those things. And in my mind, as I'm giving this advice, usually I'm thinking to myself, they don't even need to use this more than a couple times. Like once they kind of like learn from it that their logo on the thumbnail does or does not work as well, then they don't have to keep using it. And I think that's kind of like the joy of having these tools, is like, we probably shouldn't be considering using them for every single video. They're probably meant really for just like those small moments of like, okay, will this type of title work for the video or will this type of title? Oh, one time I had a video go out and it got terrible views and I was really confused by it. Just on my personal channel. And I woke up the next morning and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, oh, I didn't make the title about the audience. I made it about me. And so I went to my computer. I changed one word in the title. I think it was like from my to something else or whatever. And the video blew up the next day. It just completely blew up. I didn't have title testing or anything. I just had intuition, just raw, like sleep on it intuition. And like, those are the moments where I've had like a lot of success with changing things. I would not have thought to test 2 variants of that title. I just titled it poorly. And 3 titles would not have changed that in the moment. I just needed to like see the results come in and go, oh, okay, and learn the hard way.
I love that. What a great story that was. One of the last updates I want to talk about, it's actually really important. It tells us more about our viewership and finally lifts the veil of like hidden information that YouTube has. Is the viewer updates, or not even subscriber, but our viewer updates, the regular, casual, and new. If you haven't seen this, what an incredible update this is. It takes your audience and separates them into categories: new, casual, and regular. And then there's definitions of each. Essentially, your regular viewers, what you would think they are, they come and watch your content kind of regularly. Casual, just every so often, and gets to see your content. I think it's like once a month, every couple of months or whatever. And new is like someone who's maybe never seen you before. And it shows you things like average view duration and that sort of thing. And it's been so useful, I think, in disseminating what content works for what type of person. Dan, Jen, and Rob, now that is on the vidIQ channel especially, what type of things have you kind of walked away from looking at that? Rob, you did an entire video on it. What kind of things what do you think about this? Is this good, bad, indifferent?
I'm still trying to figure out the long-term value of these metrics, but what it tells you off the bat is just how powerful regular viewers are, in that they watch for twice as long typically on your videos, and they watch twice as many videos as new and casual viewers. So ideally, what you want to do is take these new viewers on a journey through to being more loyal, regular viewers. What I'm still trying to struggle and grasp with is like how you actually do that, and how much these figures will actually move and change, because it feels like they're quite rigid. Like it's going to require a lot of effort and testing to move the needle, especially like on regular viewers. Like ours is currently at 5%. Like, what would we do, and how much effort would we have to put into it to get that up to 6%, for example? And at the same time, would that have a detrimental impact on the new viewers coming in who maybe aren't understanding the community style content that we're trying to push to the viewer?
Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube video, you can actually see what Rob's talking about here for the last 28 days. Oh, maybe I'll zoom in on this a little bit. Essentially, you can see new viewers, casual and regular, and to Rob's point, how many average views per viewer, which is one of the most underrated pieces of data I think you can come across, which is how many times people are watching your content in a given time period. And the higher this number is, for example, our regular viewers is 4 times. That's great. And our new viewers is 1.7, which is almost 2. In other words, someone who's never seen this before comes through and likes it so much they've come back half of another time. I don't know what that means, but for sure, almost 2 times. Dan, when you see stuff like this, what is the first thing that hits you, just from like the perspective of a creator?
I think this is one of those things where you as a creator kind of get to be involved in the decision of what you want these metrics to look like. And what I mean by that is, if you want that average views per viewer number to go up, you would need to make content that is consistent. And the best example, just from my gaming roots here, the best example I could give you is if you were doing a serial let's play kind of like thing, like Zach Scott game style, where he plays through a game from beginning to end. Episode 1 is going to appeal to a lot of new viewers because people are just interested in the game. Some of those new viewers may come back for 2, 3, 4, and 5, etc., because they enjoyed the content. Those become casual to regular viewers. And I think if I've asked him to see these metrics, he said, "Oh, I'll get those for you," and then he forgot. Hopefully, I get to see them at some point, because I think they'd look a lot different from ours, because he does that so much. I think he would have a lot of returning viewers. I think his average views per viewer are probably pretty high, because there's always the next video to go to. If you do a lot of shorts like I've been doing, your new viewer number is probably very high. In fact, I kind of went on a run recently on my personal channel where I did more shorts and I didn't stream as much. And my monthly audience, the total number of people, is just kind of going down overall. I'm getting a lot of new viewers, but overall I'm not getting as many viewers. So the other thing I wanted to say is that it's important to focus on all of these. But at any given moment, if you're like, how do I get more regular viewers? You have to sit down and kind of analyze your content and figure out why it just keeps appealing to new people over and over, as if every time you post, it's like restarting your channel a little bit.
Jen, if you were coaching someone with these analytics that just came out, what kind of things would you be focusing on?
I think it's so fun. I was like, I love that we have like this on mobile too. Sometimes we get things that are just like so in depth only on desktop. And we have such an easy to read. Like, I'm looking at my phone right now, and it's so easy to see when you scroll right down the 3 swipe aways where it's popular with new viewers, popular with casual viewers, and popular with regular viewers. And you see those top 5 videos. And it's like you can very easily back and forth compare what videos have made it into all 3, which videos are specifically making it just for new viewers, and also monitoring this. Like, if you're doing a channel pivot in any kind of way, like, you want to be seeing those regular viewers kind of go down. Like, you want to see these analytics look different for a different phase that you are on for whatever you're trying to do on your channel. Like, if you're trying to build community, like you had a great burst of discoverable content, now you're trying to get more regular viewers, like you want to be seeing that like chart just shift a little bit and start to see those videos. Well, you also want to be rewarded. Like, if you're intentionally trying to make community content, you want to see that fall under your regular viewer category. So I love this. I think this is so simple to monitor at just like a glance. Like, oh, I made that video. Wow, that's attracting to my casual viewers, but also my regular viewers. Or even better, it's like, wow, my new viewers and my regular viewers both love that. So we've kind of had the unicorn effect there. I just think it's great. I think it is such an easy tool, and analytics can be just so consuming. This is one I think, even just surface level, just seeing what your content is doing is awesome.
My cautionary counterpoint to that, Jen, is that especially when it comes to percentages in YouTube analytics, the base question we often get is, well, what's a good percentage? And as you've just rightly pointed out, depending on what phase you are in creating content, you may want very different percentages. Like if you're making viral content all of the time, you want new viewers to be like as high as possible, because like that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to viral hit after viral hit. But at the same time, if you have too many regular viewers, then that means your content might be too niche and it's not reaching out and picking up new audiences. So this is going to be like a very fluid number, which means it's going to be hard to give like general advice. It's going to be, as you said, like really tailored for the individual.
Yeah, I think if I was looking at this when I was still coaching people, I mean, first of all, I would have been over the moon for this data. I'd be like, holy crap, finally. All the things that I've assumed and hoped are right here in front of me. Goes right exactly to what Jen said. And Jen and I have talked many times in the podcast about buckets, content buckets. And depending on what content bucket you're using will dictate what these numbers should look like. And when you have that discoverable stuff, just like Jen said, your new viewers should be high. And what you hope to see is that return viewer, the return number, how many views per, how many videos per review they're coming back to watch is higher than normal. Because you want to hook them in, right? The whole point of making discoverable content is to bring new people into the house, so to speak. Your casual audience might not be as interested. You never know, right? Like you might just be going for something that's wide range. Now, I would assume some of your casual and your biggest fans would want to watch everything you do. But let's be real, that's not how it normally works. But that big number of new viewers is where your subscriber numbers will grow. Doesn't mean your average view duration is going to look good. As a matter of fact, I would argue if it's discoverable content, your average view duration probably going to be terrible comparatively, but that's okay. We have different buckets for different reasons. And before we move on to the next thing, what are our buckets, by the way? What's the vidIQ buckets? I don't even know.
Well,
does anyone know?
Definitely YouTube updates.
Updates for sure. Discoverable.
I broadly, I consider it's two of them. There's YouTube updates and there's like growth videos, but we could probably get more nuance than that.
Small channel bucket. Let's talk to small channels about something that they're struggling with, how to improve.
Yeah.
Then the experimental buckets, which keep breaking because we're not sure what to put in them.
That's true. We overflow that bucket.
Yeah.
We do.
It just doesn't have a bottom.
Sewage comes out.
We just drop stuff in it and it just falls through.
Yeah.
The bucket has holes in the bottom. All right. So if you're watching the YouTube video, we actually have talked more about this than you've seen so far. A lot of it's been edited out. If you want to see the whole thing, there'll be a link in the description below. And also, if you're a listener to the vidIQ podcast, whether you're listening on audio podcasts or on YouTube, you know that we take your emails and we answer them. So we got two. We got one from a regular. And the way you reach out to us is you send us an email at theboost@vidIQ.com and we may answer it. And today we are going to answer two of these. One of these just came in. Jen and I are going to go into the studio soon. So I have a bunch of those already ready for that. This one just came in from Frank the Dank, which is a good friend of ours. What up, vidI crew? My favorite podcast that motivates me, makes me hungry, makes me laugh, and teaches me not to be a conspiracy theorist most of the time. Not really, but I'm puzzled and I don't know what to do. Lately, my videos have been absolutely tanking, like single-digit views. A bad feeling after finally getting to where I was getting at least 100 or hundreds of views per video. To top it off, I went to my analytics and my videos are hardly getting any impressions, like not even 200 in a matter of weeks. I have a personal YouTube account that I use just for viewing, and I sub to my channel with all notifications, and it's not getting any. I decided it was time to put on my sleuthing cap and turned on restricted mode, which we've talked about on this channel many times. And of course, none of my recent videos are there, and a ton of my old ones have disappeared. To add to the despair, not a single one of my more than 200 live streams are visible either. I really don't believe in shadow bans, but this one really has me concerned and wondering what the heck is going on. I appealed a list of videos that I feel should not have been restricted. Of course, I'm reasonable. Some of them deserve it. I got a potty mouth, so I understand that I didn't get
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Also, am I unreasonable to think it's horse poo that you can't see restricted in YouTube Studio? Come on. It's a real son of a bear figuring out what videos have been banished from the shadow realm.
This person does not have a potty mouth. I'm sorry.
I know, right? Son of a bear.
No, Dan, he typed out this question and put it through ChatGPT to like replace all of the.
Can you censor this for me?
But we do need to talk about this. So while we've definitely talked about shadow banning, whether or not it's real, what he's describing is real. And we actually we described it live on a live stream once when I was showing you guys. Remember I showed you that one. What channel was that, Rob? It was like a it was a video channel. Video reviews.
They were reviewing films, I think horror films, and we turned on restricted mode and every single video disappeared from what I remember. Like hundreds of them.
And they weren't getting very many views either. And we were like, this is kind of weird. They're not getting very many views. Very much like Frank. What do we think is happening here? And what do we think he should do? We definitely want to help Frank out. Frank's a good guy.
Well, it feels as if they've gone for the lowest common denominator, least path of resistance reason why suddenly their videos are getting viewed, which is to blame a setting. I'm not clear if their videos were already restricted. It feels like they started doing the research and then discovered their videos were restricted. Maybe they have been for years. I don't know. I mean, we obviously have to ask the obvious things like, have you had a change of topic? Like, did you receive a copyright claim, or is it like there's been a guideline strike? Is there something else that could have influenced it? So as usual, we don't have the full picture, but you know, there are times when we've seen on channel audits where all of a sudden channels just seem to lose all of their views, and like we don't have an explanation for that. We like to think there isn't a quote unquote shadow ban in effect, but YouTube must have some kind of controls that perhaps affect channels. But now am I being drawn into the conspiracy theorist attitude? Dan, Jen, help me out before I say anything.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
Oh my gosh, I like this. I have a new conspiracy that I'm dealing with. It has nothing to do with this, but I think this is like a really complicated one. And while I would love to have like really helpful advice, this feels like something like I would reach out to YouTube. I would try my best with YouTube support so like they can actually look into your channel and tell you what the issue is. And I know people have issues with YouTube support all the time. And I would just say, keep trying until you get someone that's helpful.
They did say, Jen, though, in the comment that had they not appealed some?
They appealed some, yeah.
How do you appeal a restricted video? I
No
didn't
idea.
realize that was a thing.
I have no idea either. But I do like that they said you should be able to see restricted content in studio.
I agree with
that. I agree with that 100%. I brought that up to YouTube. I've been like, what's going on?
So I just going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole here. I've always kind of wondered if once you draw YouTube's ire and you make a mistake, you end up in a different system whereby your videos are scrutinized heavily. And here's why I think this might happen. Again, this is me with a tinfoil hat on, okay? I'm not trying to freak anybody out.
I like your tinfoil hat.
I have something to add Dan after this.
Okay.
I have something to add.
So when you're uploading a video to YouTube, I just did this so I could get the language exactly right. I'm uploading a video right now. They've already posted. I'm going to delete it. So first, there's the details tab where you fill out your title and everything. Then there's the ad sustainability tab where if you're monetized, you rate your video whether or not it's sustainable for ads. And there's a whole bunch of questions. It's inappropriate language, adult content, violence, and it goes on. Like, so you admit to YouTube that you have, adult content in your video or whatever. Now, usually for me, I don't cuss or anything, so I go through those really quickly and I say none of the above. When I click that, YouTube tells me at the very bottom, before I hit next, it says, your rating accuracy is high, so we'll monetize your video with your input. If there's a strong sign your input is inaccurate, your monetization status may change. So there is a system in place for monetization where I'm being judged every time I upload a video, and they're saying right now, we trust you. Don't screw up is how I read into this. And so if that system exists for ad suitability, could it not exist for, community guidelines, like things that you bump up against?
My something to add was exactly what Dan just said. So
Wow.
well done, Dan. Yeah, it's just, but
Wow.
there's a trust system already in the monetization level. So is there something that's hidden behind the scenes on more of a just like accepted content level that we just don't know about?
This feels like a new segment on the podcast, YouTube conspiracy theories. Maybe we will start this in the coming weeks, which means you got to hit subscribe if you haven't already, or if you're listening to the audio podcast, definitely make sure you're leaving us a great review.
Can we license the X-Files music? In the meantime, I'll do a manual version of it. Bum, pum, pum.
Not bad, actually. Speaking of music,
Dan, have you watched X-Files?
No.
no, of course he hasn't.
Okay.
No,
Anything
I
that
don't
was
know
ever
what
popular.
that is.
You have owned a television, Dan, at some point in your life, right?
Yeah. I'm building a Plex
Yeah.
library.
Yeah, he has a television next to his DVD collection.
Plex.
Next one, and again, you can send us a message if
Hang on, sorry, I need to
Yeah, go
pause
ahead.
this podcast. Weird Plex, Dan, but okay.
Oh, hey, hey. All right.
Thank you.
It was worth
thank
it.
you. None of the vidIQ main channel would have heard that joke. Anyway, if you want to send us a message and you're listening to audio podcast, there's a link in the show notes that allow you to send a text message. Or if you're listening to everywhere else on the YouTubes and all the other places, you can, of course, send us an email to the boost at vidIQ.com, which is exactly what this next person did. Death City Mutants. We were a band that was on our way in the 90s that had something of a large local following, but we broke up like bands do.
Oh, the drama.
A fan from back then had dug up an old video and put it on YouTube, and we saw some comments, and the guys and I have been talking about getting back together. So we started to load some of our old songs onto YouTube and create AI videos for them, since we didn't have any of video footage from back in the day. Anyway, I have another YouTube channel, so I've been fans of your show for a while. We recently got back in the studio and we were recording some new songs and riffing and jamming, came up with these 2 songs for vidIQ and all you do for us. I hope you enjoy, and we haven't made a video for them, but maybe. We have a unique sound. We were a Celtic punk hair band is probably the best way to describe us, so it might not be your style, but we hope you enjoy. We love a review of or some ideas on how we can better grow our channel, recapture our old fan base, and introduce our music to a wider audience. So I have both songs. I will play them. I will not play the entire song because it'll take forever. However, there are one is a theme, more or less a theme song to this show. So let's listen to that first. And then
Is
there's a little
anyone
surprise.
familiar with Celtic hair band?
I've never
punk?
heard of this
I have an idea
play
in
it.
my mind what this is going to sound like.
We're
Wait
about
until
to
you
be.
hear it. Wait until you hear it. Okay, this is the first one. This is basically would be like the Two Talk vidIQ podcast kind of theme song. Here we go. I like to point out this is not AI, by the way. So that's the other thing.
Well, you say that, Travis. You
they
say
said
that.
they went back in the studio. This is the problem with this. I am super impressed by someone making an actual song for us. Like, it overly impresses me. But we are now in a time where AI music is so prevalent that you almost expect it, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming none of this is AI. I'm just going to give them props. They were a 90s band. They didn't have AI music back then. This is music. And I believe this is brand new. Literally, they went to a studio. I believe this with all my heart. Here we go.
I found my clan in the digital mist through voices that cut like a blade. They speak the words I need to hear when the battles make me afraid. Travis and Jen, they guide my way through the storm and through the fight. We rise together. We fall as one. In the noise we find our voice.
What a drop.
I'm just imagining you two now walking down as a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I'm a mark for any time that someone says my name in a song. I'm always about that. So that's the first one. And we appreciate it. If you're listening to the audio podcast, maybe we'll put it at the very end of the audio podcast. But
Voices
I
that
love
cut like a knife. Whoa.
that's
was
Jen's
great.
voice. Now,
Oh,
there's-
always.
there's another song. And what I love about the song is the chorus. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, you'll probably hear more of it than on the main video channel. Probably on the main video channel, you'll probably just hear the chorus. But listen to what the hook is for this. I love it.
In the wasteland of forgotten channels, where the algorithm feeds on dying hope. I watch creators fall like broken angels, their dreams consumed by the machine's cold throats. When the fuse are bleeding out and the passion turns to doubt, what would Rob Wilson do when the platform tears you through? Would he stand and fight the war or accept there's nothing more?
Rob, you just got a theme song.
Wilson do? Tell me, what would Rob Wilson do?
I mean, hello.
Here's what I do. I go to settings, advanced features,
Oh my
delete channel, done.
Savage Rob Wilson. Death City Mutants, thank you so much.
That's
Immediately
hilarious.
that song's getting put into Slack. Rob Wilson.
Live streams spot. What would Rob Wilson do? We just have
We
that
need
as
the
a-
shirt. Where's the shirt?
Yeah.
With the
Wow.
Rob, what would Rob Wilson do with the horns like on the shirt? Yeah, we need that.
I love that so much.
I think what you just did, they were like, what kind of things can we do to grow our channel? I think you just did it. We have to play that song in at least one vidIQ channel as your theme song, as your intro. Like when you come on what would Rob
I agree.
Wilson do? I can see you like flying through skies and like, knocking out monetization, the yellow things and hitting them, punching like a superhero and stuff.
We've also been talking about having a more corporate end screen. So I think just that for 20 seconds at the end of every single video.
I love
100%
that
agree.
actually. There's a
think
lot of
that's so
YouTubers that kind of do that kind of end screen where they feature a song or whatever. You could do that.
And you
Well,
know
you
what we
gotta
should
get
do?
their
Like,
permission.
whenever it's somebody else, like it just has the AI voice come in. What would Jen?
I was gonna say I'm cutting to that song at least once in every video I make from here on out.
Oh, man.
Just a dark black and white screen of eternal struggling.
We
What
need-
would Rob Wilson do?
Last thing we're going to do.
Well,
play a
hang
little
on,
game.
hang on. They wanted
Oh.
some advice.
Well, that's what I'm. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, we don't need to do that. We're not helping people here.
Well, yeah, we said delete the channel, Dan. We said-
Yeah, didn't you hear
right.
that?
That is what you would do. So yeah, I guess there's your answer.
No, music is hard. Not gonna lie. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Anyone have any advice for a music channel trying to gain back their? I mean, other than doing the obvious, which would be like covers.
I have a couple things. So one, I noticed in their email, of course, they're like, well, we got some of our songs and used AI visuals for them. And I wanted to just let them know that you should pay attention to the comments on those, see how people are vibing with it. Because if you use obviously AI visuals, people might assume it's AI music as well. And if you don't want that assumption, that's something I would just consider. And the other thing I was going to say is that you already have this talent and the writing is excellent. I would say you should be making songs for other things, even like not songs you would necessarily put in an album, just to gain attention in YouTube and YouTube Shorts. Like write a song about current events, whatever it is that's interesting you, whether it's politics or just like entertainment news or whatever it is. And the like what would Rob Wilson do is like there's a funny song. I don't know if it's intending to be funny. I think it's funny to us, but like the comedy is there in sometimes just pointing things out with music. And I think you could get a lot of traction on your regular stuff if you do really off the wall stuff like that.
Wait, have you guys seen the TikTok where they make an emo song using only Taco Bell hot sauce packets as lyrics?
What? No.
Wait, you guys need to get on the side of TikTok I'm on. I'll Slack that to you guys later. But
Wild.
it made me think of from like what Dan was saying though, because I've also seen creators who like make an entire song of just like Amazon reviews and like things that are generally funny, but also like your musical talent is like backing that up. So I think there is a lot of opportunity to have fun since the humor is there, but of course with your own original music.
I think using your musical talent in unique ways gets people's attention, especially on Shorts.
I love it. All right. So final thing, we're gonna play a little game here. We are each gonna have like a little hot take and see if we can convince the other people that our hot take is correct. So I'll start. And that is super simple. I believe titles are more important than thumbnails. Change my mind. Jen, start. Do you think you agree with me, as you should because I'm right? Or do you disagree with me and tell me why?
You said which ones are more important?
Titles.
No, I'm going to disagree.
Why?
I used to think this was the case until title testing came out.
Don't use YouTube against me. What's wrong with you?
I used to think that was the case. I think that no matter what, you have to have the best thumbnail to grab attention, and the title is what makes somebody watch.
Right.
But I don't think you could just have a title stand on its own as the most important feature.
Okay. Rob Wilson, what do you think?
I'm going to be a bit of a fence sitter here and say that if you're very familiar with the creator, then you just see the thumbnail and click and watch. You don't really care what the title is. I think if you're unfamiliar with the creator, the thumbnail will catch your attention, and then the title, yes, will probably convince you to click. But there's also the consideration of you always need a title. You don't always need a thumbnail, because that can be automatically selected for you. So, you know, I'm kind of like 51%, 49. Like, yeah, probably the title confirms the click, but like the viewers got to get to reading that title, and I think the thumbnail helps a long way. But and also you've got autoplay as well on mobile. You only see the thumbnail for like barely a second, then the video starts playing as well. So, yeah, I'm convincing myself, Dan, that Travis, I think you might be right.
I'm firmly in your camp, where I think it really depends on the creator and the video. There are certainly creators who demonstrated neither matter. Like, I think Moist Critical, where he just puts sometimes a couple words and he's just staring at the camera. You build up a personality like that and a following. It's like you don't really have to worry about it. Or for all we know, he's tested a lot of things. He stresses that stuff just like we do. For all we really know, I don't know the guy. But yeah, I definitely can see why a title would matter. I could see why you could just use a thumbnail with a title just as like an empty character or something, or period or something like that. I've seen that work too. So it's that, like anything on YouTube, I really think it depends. But I see where you're coming from.
So my whole thought behind it is not the edge cases of like someone who's so popular you can put whatever and it works, or the people who never get views because whatever. I think about all the things that matter to a creator, which is the actual view, right? Which is the click. And sometimes the title does that, but we've seen so many times, or the thumbnail does that, but we've seen so many times where the thumbnail is trash and the video has millions of views, and it just so happens the title is really interesting. So that was my hot take on that. Rob, what is your hot take, and what should we convince you of?
All right, so I wanted to Google this to make sure I said this correctly, but like creators, right, this is two creators. If you love something enough, you need to set it free. And that is subscribers.
Ooh.
And what I mean by that is now we have this new metric, which at the top end of it is called monthly viewers, monthly audience. That is basically your subscriber count. Because like it's more, well, it's kind of it's more temporary. It's like a reflection of where your channel is right now, rather than how many people have clicked on a red button. And I think in order to let the subscriber button free, it means that it could be reclaimed by viewers. Because right now, in my opinion, the subscriber button is trash. You click on it and then you have this one page of subscriptions and it doesn't do anything else. There are new tools that are kind of screwing things over a little bit. Like what I've heard a lot is that people who maybe, for example, live in the Netherlands, but they watch a lot of English content, and now auto dubbing is automatically defaulting their language to their native language, even though they prefer to listen in English. So I'm thinking about how the subscriber button could help on that. Like you could set defaults for channels. Like I want to listen to this channel in its default language, like not necessarily the one that YouTube decides through auto dubbing. Or if I am watching a channel and I watched a few videos, instead of me having to subscribe to the channel, it prompts you. I will see you've been watching this channel for quite a while. Would you like to subscribe to them with these options? Like send me notifications when we go live, or send me notifications when there's a new show or long form. Like a lot more customization other than like the three options you have right now. And I think that only works if the viewer is basically in control of a subscriber button rather than it being this all-important, not very important vanity metric for creators.
All that to say, subscribers don't matter? Is that what you're saying? Hot take?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Hard agree.
I agree with this.
Yep.
I'm not even
Agree.
going to argue.
Oh, well, it's not really a hot take then, is
Yeah,
it?
you're not very good at the game,
I-
but I
It's
agree.
a
with
very
you.
lukewarm.
Yeah,
cold
way
hot
to
take,
go,
yeah.
Rob. That's funny. I was gonna have one of mine be like your audience is who's unsubscribed, not your subscribers.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Hey, I like that.
But also bad at the game. Like it's not controversial. Not for
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, exactly.
that was
It's
bad.
I think
Very-
maybe
yeah.
listeners are
Thanks
like,
for
no.
taking that bullet, Rob. Glad I didn't use that one.
What do you think about, like, do you think the subscribe button should be binned, or do you think it needs to be resurrected? Do you think it can be saved and used for a new purpose?
My
Who's
hot
gonna
take is
go?
get rid of the subscriber number and the view numbers on videos. That's my hot take.
Would you replace it with anything? Because I tease the idea of replacing it with monthly active viewers.
I saw that and I liked the way it looked.
I think it would put even more pressure on creators. Like if
could.
your public number could move so much from month to month,
Yeah,
that feels like
definitely.
there'd be a lot of pressure.
I think that depends on the kind of content you make, because if I'm watching along and it's showing that number and they're a shorts creator, like that's no credibility for their long form content. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? Like you get, you
Mhm.
get like 3 monthly million views or something, but you just started making like it's all shorts. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably
yeah,
a little bit
I-
like, I don't know.
Family friend now slowly fading into a distance, John would have that problem, wouldn't he? Because like has shorts which get hundreds, tens of millions of views, but he's also making long form content at the moment. And he's trying to figure out how to, get those views from shorts
Yeah.
to longs. And right now he's getting thousands of views. And so as you say, like, this guy gets 60 million active views a
It
month. and yet
seems like
I'm watching
sketchy
this.
when you look at it in that
Yeah.
sense. Because you're
Social
seeing a
proof.
video. Yeah, I don't know. I will own it all the time. I need a little bit of social proof because there's so much content in the world. Like as a viewer, like I will own up to the fact, like I will take that. I will watch a video that has more views over a new video for the most part.
Terrible.
I've been there.
I'm not gonna not watch a video because they don't have views, but if they're versus each other, I'm gonna watch the one with just more credibility. Like it is probably gonna be a better viewer experience for me than somebody's second video. And that's just like matter of fact.
It proves the longevity of the channel in a way, and like you assume that they've taken their licks to get to where they are, and they are going to produce a more succinct answer to your question, for example, or something like that. It is unfair.
Thank you.
It is
Agreed.
unfair to the new creators who are working hard, but it is definitely like a passive thing going on in my brain as I'm looking for videos.
I would say
I don't think it's unfair though, because those creators have put in their time.
It's yes,
They've
Well,
earned that.
but like,
well, hold on.
What if the
Because then
new
you talk about
creators
clickbait.
starts a new channel and they've put in their time, but it's a new channel? I don't know.
Here's the answer. This is the answer. Listen, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to solve. the world's
Surprise, guys!
problems.
This is my hot take now.
Yeah,
I
that's
started
my
a
hot
war.
take. Let me take advantage of this. You remove the views and you put in something that's an amalgamation of, because YouTube always tells us that they have these signals of people enjoying the content. You put that there instead, either like a like percentage or a view, like average viewer likes this at 80% or something like that. Kind of like what Netflix did. If you remember, Netflix took away the thumbs up, thumbs down percentage, and they've now changed it with something like things you'll like, and it's like an algorithmic. This is a percentage. So give it a percentage of what you'll like. This, the chances of you liking this, like 80%, almost like what is it, Rotten Tomatoes? Give me that instead. I don't need to know the views. Tell me how much I'm going to like this video.
That's
'Cause I don't-
interesting.
This is a hotter take. No.
What?
Oh!
Dan, let
Rotten
me explain something to you.
Tomatoes-
I can find
Dude
5
said,
different.
absolutely not.
I'm not saying people should do Hot Tomatoes. I'm just saying I could give you 5 videos with millions of views you were not interested in. But if the percentage there said Dan's only 10% going to like this, you're probably not going to watch it.
No streaming service has gotten this right though so far. Netflix tries this
I
with
think
me.
it's not my problem.
Like, I'm just saying YouTube is not going to get that right, and like Rotten Tomatoes judges movies so poorly, like whether it's critic reviews or user reviews. I've seen movies that have such amazing Rotten Tomatoes scores that are
You've
absolute
seen movies,
garbage.
Dan?
Some
He's actually seen them.
He's on
Hey.
Plex, guys.
That's
He's
a
on
hot
Plex.
take.
Plex has Rotten Tomatoes built in. I've stopped judging based off of it because it gets it wrong for me personally all the time. I don't want to put
Yeah,
that
but
in,
there's
in the
no
hands of an
algorithm for that.
I know.
I'm
but
talking about using algorithm.
that's the problem. I don't think an algorithm can nail it. It doesn't know
already
my
has.
mood, but it doesn't know my mood. Like,
Okay,
it
but
does
what
get
if I want to
things
watch something
wrong.
new? How's it going to know if I'm going to like it?
Look at
Like
your
if I
homepage. Look
if
at
I
your
Google
homepage.
right now how to make butter by hand,
Yes,
Look
they're
at your
going to be like,
homepage.
there's a 0% chance
It's
you've liked
already
this.
doing this.
I know, but my doom scroll starts the homepage. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. Sometimes I hit watch later and I come back to it later because I'll be in the mood maybe later. But that's the thing. Like, I just don't want to go deeper down that rabbit hole. I already doom scroll enough.
This sounds like a you problem.
It
man.
is,
It doesn't
but
sound like
that's
a
the
YouTube
thing.
problem.
I'm probably not alone. There's probably other people who feel like, you
don't
have
know.
a
I'm
recommendation
kind
system,
of-
YouTube, chill.
I'm kind of team Dan. I
Oh my
am.
Lord.
I kind of am. I also feel like YouTube's suggestions have gotten like a little quick to assume things I want to watch again.
I still don't think that views answer that question succinctly or accurately. But having said that, we'll hold on to that conversation for another time. Dan, what is your hot take as we wrap this thing up?
My hot take just became a little more serious, but I'm going to go with my
Oh.
silly one. Maybe
All
we'll
right.
come back to it. I think that cat videos are the best videos.
Oh no.
Hard
no,
stop.
no,
Now I think
Goodbye.
I think this for
It's
a
been
couple
nice
of
to know you,
reasons.
Dan.
No, here's the thing. Anyone can make a cat video and have it take off. All they need is a cat and a crappy phone camera. It doesn't matter if they know how to edit. It doesn't matter if the cat's really doing anything. It just works. Cats, people like cats. However, if you have like a dog and you want to do the same thing with a dog, dogs, yeah, you got to impress me. Dogs, I expect some training is involved. I expect the dog is going to do something cool. Cats, oh my gosh, it looks so adorable. And that's cat videos, and anyone can do it. You don't even need to be like a YouTuber. You don't have to watch vidIQ to do cat videos. Just do cat videos, and you could get views. The cat videos are easy. Cat videos are the best
Okay.
videos.
You know, this podcast and video is going to be so weird now because we're just going to have these moments of silence where like all of Dan's stuff's going to be edited out because everything he's just said is invalid. No?
Wait. Okay. Dan, I am not actually going to argue this too much because
Because I'm right.
I think cats do like the dumbest stuff.
Mhm.
Like my dog is quite dumb, but not as dumb as a cat. Like
That sounds
so when
like a
it,
channel, Jen.
I-
if I'm honest.
Yeah, I told you,
dumb cat.
because
Yeah.
like
there's endless
my dog
ideas.
literally like accidentally headbutted the front door this morning and was like forgot it was closed.
Whoa.
Like but a cat will like literally fall down the side of a fridge for no reason at all. And it's funny because cats like are always like okay, I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
at least I have 8 more lives after that. So
Mhm.
I
They
do
land.
think there's always something funny to watch about a cat.
That's interesting, Rob.
I think this also kind of falls into like children getting hurt too.
Wait,
Like
whoa, what?
not
Wait, what? What are you?
Was that your hot
Jen,
take coming
let's
into
edit
this?
that out. We don't want to get canceled
Wait,
here. We didn't-
Jen was going
wait.
to say children getting hurt videos are the best videos.
Children
They're
getting
the
hurt
best
videos
videos.
are taking over
You're
YouTube.
now going to have to give YouTube your credit card information to watch this video.
This turned into just Rob and Travis doing a podcast, and both Jen
We've
and I
just
get
been
edited out.
age-gated.
You know what this is because I'm watching so much like daily dose videos, and there's always like kids and cats in the same compilation of like them falling like off their bike in like a hilarious way,
Cats
not
falling off
actually
their
getting
bike?
hurt. Wait, you guys not watch Daily Dose?
No.
I avoid content like that.
Oh my god, it like auto plays on my TV.
There's too many
it's so
kids
funny.
falling off of stuff and getting maimed, and I can't.
Oh my
It's
God.
stomach
so
it.
funny. Obviously, like they're okay because it's on the internet.
Actually, I'm going to ask one thing before we go. And this is something that Jen and I talked about in the previous episode. I'm not going to tell you which side of the fence we land on. We talked about a concept of if you're on your homepage and you're like, oh, I want to watch that, I want to watch that, I want to watch that. Do you click on it and open it into a new tab and fill up tabs and then go through your tabs and watch them? Or do you just watch them and then like go back and forth? Do you pop open new tabs, Rob? And do you think
I-
it's weird?
Tend to just add it to watch later. And then-
Okay. So you use watch later.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like a
On
someone
and
from
off,
2010.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan.
My watch later list currently has 400 plus videos.
So is it useful at that point?
Well, most of them I've watched, and you can just click a button to clear it. But no, I go to it a lot. It's useful because I can use it on TV and
Sure.
my phone
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything else.
But if you're like on your desktop and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, I got lunch break here. I'm just gonna watch 3 or 4 videos. You pop them out into new tabs, or do you just watch them?
I just don't watch. I guess I just don't use my desktop in that way, so I probably wouldn't. I probably don't.
As usual, Dan messes up the question. We appreciate you for watching us here this week. If you're watching on the main channel, there's a link in the description below for the unedited version of this video. Trust me when I tell you, you missed a lot of stuff. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, leave us a 5-star review, even though we talked about kids getting hurt. I don't know why. Why we did that. Jen did that anyway. I didn't do that.
We just had to add a little more controversy to that.
All these videos are going into restricted mode now.
If we're in restricted mode and you have not seen us,
It's my
then I
fault.
guess it's definitely Jen and Dan's fault a little bit. Definitely make sure you hit this button right here where you can subscribe to our podcast channel and watch the full unedited episode right here. We'll see you in the next one.